All right, so I just sat down to talk, and I was looking out my front window when I saw a mailman approach my front door. He flung my package onto the ground and it bounced twice before it hit my door. There's a man who doesn't give any more F's. He is out of it. And oh my God, the temperature actually went up since I got home. Jesus Christ, Arizona in the summer, we're going to have a monsoon every day this week. But before I get into that, I was working on this video with ChatGPT and I was asking it to suggest some scripts because I'll take a script and then I'll divide it up into three sections, right? I don't actually use its script. I use what it creates, then I ask it to create talking points, and I talk from the talking points. Anyhow, this is one of the funniest things it's ever written. It was going to call this video Welcome to Pound Town, Population U. And in the introductory monologue, it introduced the title again, and it said, You're clocking in at Pound Town. Spoiler alert, you're not doing the pounding. I thought that was hilarious. Oh my goodness. But I took this script from the second most popular video that's on this channel, and that's how every job in America became a desperation job. Just like me, 3 days into my job, and I'm like, you know what? I can't stay here. That was my first thought upon meeting the people that I would be working with. I can't stay here. And progressively, work gets even harder on you. On Friday, when I was driving back from the office, I put a podcast on, more like a creepy pasta. And the premise was you're working at a haunted Amazon warehouse that has cryptids and ghosts and all kinds of scary things. And it just sounded so believable. I think all of our workplaces have this certain innate dread about going there and sitting down and wondering if today's going to be your last day. You're going to get sucked through a 6-inch pipe in a warehouse, or is a werewolf going to eat you? Or yesterday, the most bizarre conversation I've ever had among 10 to 15 ladies at the salon. Somehow we got on the topic of, do you bite your man? You guys wouldn't believe it. 99% of the ladies said yes. You bite your man. And without further ado, let's get into our introductory monologue. Remember when $17 an hour sounded like freedom? Like maybe you could finally stop living off expired peanut butter, paycheck roulette. Fast forward to 2025, and $17 barely covers gas, let alone your sanity. Every job now feels like you're clocking into Pound Town with no no assistance, no benefits, and no exit strategy. ChatGPT, we need to clean your mouth out with soap for writing that. I can't believe what it put in there. If I was going to put this script on the screen, I would actually have to blur out what it wrote. All right, let's get into talking point number one. $17 an hour sounds survivable until rent is $1,400, gas is $5 a gallon, and your raise is a 30-cent joke. Most jobs today don't pay a living wage. They pay just enough to keep you afraid of quitting. It's not employment, it's a financial hostage taking with a smiley face sticker. You know, that is so true. My rent is currently just over $2,000 a month, and I just spent $45 on gas, and I couldn't believe it. My bank account is emptying out so quickly, it doesn't even feel like I got paid on Friday. I mean, this is ridiculous. My cable bill is now $200. My phone bill is almost that much. Food is outrageous. You can't go anywhere. I sat down to eat with Mello a couple of hours ago, and her bill for 2 burritos, a drink, was like $31. And I'm like, holy crap. You just Look at that. And you're kind of like, wait a minute. Mello just got a substantial increase in quality of life, and it's already being taken away because they call it lifestyle creep, but I don't think it's that. Those apartments down the street 7 years ago were $450 a month. How do you increase rent by 400% and say that everything is fine? Remember, the national federal minimum wage has not increased since the year 2009, and rent has gone up 400%. How are these things justifiable in a world? Like, I don't know how there can be so many people that need help right now. We're not talking about just junkies and mess addicts and homeless people. We're talking about working class people that need help right now. And instead of helping people, this administration is going in the exact opposite way, in hurting people by taking away their Medicaid, by taking away their food stamps, by taking away their Section 8 housing. Why do you think they need Section 8 housing? It's not because they're being paid a living wage, it's because they're not being paid a living wage. And because corporations aren't being held accountable for crap wages. $17 an hour to me is still way beneath what the minimum wage needs to be. Because imagine, $17 an hour does not buy you a large value meal at McDonald's anymore. Everywhere you go, lunch costs $20. That's $15 for the entree, $3 to $4 for the drink, tax, and you know that person behind the counter isn't going to give you a good smile unless they see at least 10% tip just for handing you your food. Put the fries in the bag, little bro. You got to tip that guy. He's 45, he's got hemorrhoids, a wife, 3 kids, and he's working at McDonald's? Yeah, because he wants to, right? Yeah. Ask that manager and he'll tell you the same thing. I don't want anyone working here that doesn't want to be here. And you ask yourself, like every time I've heard this in the workplace, I'm like, are they slow? Did someone drop this person as a child? Or do they really drink the Kool-Aid? I don't know what's going on there, people, but I've seen this my whole life. People who are completely out of touch. Remember, the cure to poverty in America is thoughts and prayers. Talking point number 2. Jobs labeled as entry level now demand degrees, bilingual language skills, emotional labor, and physical exhaustion, all for the privilege of being yelled at an apron, in an apron. These aren't stepping stones. They're grind traps disguised as opportunities, designed to burn you out, spit you into the next gig with even lower expectations. Remember, guys, that show Lowered Expectations? I think it was in the 90s. I think it was part of In Living Color, which ages me terribly. But lowered expectations in the workplace. You've got to lower your expectation. You want health benefits? Nah. You want guaranteed hours? Nah. You want loyalty? I don't think so. What you get in America is hourly work that expects for you to provide your own health benefits. That doesn't care if this week you get 19 hours or if you get 1 hour or you show up at a driving job, you drop off food and someone changes the tip from what you thought you were going to get to nothing. All my drivers, all my food delivery drivers, put down in the comments section, when was the last time someone gave you a halfway decent tip? And when was the last time you felt the stick back there? Because this is what I keep hearing from delivery drivers. People aren't generous. In general, The American public is exhausted by tip culture, by people who live off your generosity. The same way that every single homeless person standing at a corner right now is expecting for you to to feel sympathetic towards their situation when you know they're going to be there tomorrow and the day after and the day after. And the government resources that should come to help these people are never going to show up any more than they're going to come and show up to help the middle class. Talking point number 3. For some reason, whenever I'm doing this, I like to watch the timer to see how much time I have so I can go off on tangents if I feel like it. But here we go. The system doesn't accidentally exploit workers. It depends on your desperation to survive. The less you have, the more that you owe, that they own you. From gig apps to grocery stores, the entire workforce is built around making you feel replaceable, lucky, and loyal, while they slowly extract your humanity in an 8-hour increments. This reminds me a lot of the video that I made about 6 months ago. 6 months ago. About 6 months ago, I made a video called the Soul Suck 3000 that was requested for by a comment. And I couldn't believe how hard-hitting that video was. Because in it, I talk about a machine that every corporation has that has a special feature built into it. Basically, a hose that reaches up into your nether regions and sucks out your soul slowly for 8 hours a day. And when you leave work, you look like a blobfish, right? That's been brought to the surface. And then you go home and then you become whole again. In those 8 hours that you're away from Pound Town, you turn back into a human being only to be attached to the Soulsuck 3000 yet again the following morning. And this never stops. Your appointments with the Soulsuck 3000 are also accompanied with regular visitations from Fleece, our favorite corporate character. And there's nothing else to say other than you guys have absolutely fallen in love with the idea of Fleece showing up at least once a day at your workplace. Because I see the comments constantly. Even when I don't mention Fleece in a video, you guys have to point out that tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., Fleece is already tapping his watch, waiting, licking his lips, and wondering if he'll come to work early today. But the reality is that there's a Fleece Johnson everywhere where money is being made. Whether you work at Microsoft, a Kroger's, a warehouse, wherever your rear end exists in this world and is desperate enough to sell your hourly labor to Pound Town, that's where he exists. And there's no escaping it. Because unless you suddenly become incredibly wealthy, this is the way that you're going to spend the rest of your life. And we're talking well past retirement age. You're going to scoot into your 60s, 70s, 80s, and God forbid you live into your 90s, because the Soulsuck 3000 will be shining and gleaming with fresh chrome, a bright red light, and a smiley sticker on the top of it. Because that's all that awaits the proletariat. And the proletariat doesn't have to accept this with their pants around their ankles. You are the many. You are the strong. And for you to accept the Soulsuck 3000 is more of a reflection on you than society itself. Society is not going to give you any opportunities to better yourself. There is no climbing a fictional ladder. All there is you, the Soulsuck 3000, and the rest of your life. I don't know about you, but I don't like those odds. All right, so let's get into our closing monologue here. This isn't work. It's survival cosplay with a name tag. We're not lazy. We're exhausted. We're not ungrateful. We're just done. Pretending that the desperation is ambition. If you're tired too, you're not broken. You're finally seeing the scam for what it is. I'm beginning to realize that the whole point of existing is a scam. And again, coming back to that video from According to Nicole, when you start labeling everything a scam, the word scam in and of itself loses any power. Scam only has meaning when you realize that it's a scam for real. Being born in today's society is a scam. It's a scam because it's a scam with a subscription service. You want to continue living indoors? Well, guess what? Your subscription service to your apartment, to your car, and to food will never go away. Every month for the rest of your life, the scam of needing to be subscribed to life resources will continue to be there. Whether you get sick, whether you lose your job, whether you decide that you can't keep going. Today, I was watching a video about Claire somewhere, and I was going to actually do a video on the 3 signs that she knew that she needed to quit her warehouse job. And the last talking point she said was she was working at, she doesn't ever say, but I'm pretty sure she's working at an Amazon warehouse. And there's a machine there that brings one tray into you and it makes you pick it for certain items. And then you move those items to a second tray that moves away from you. And she described this analogy of feeling like it was waves. It reminded her of being in the ocean where one wave hits you and then one wave takes away. And that reminded me a lot of being in Cancun one night. I was around 10 years old. But when you come close to biting it, you never forget. I can tell you what the night smelled like, how large the waves were, and how stupid us kids were, and how our parents didn't tell us that we could get sucked into the middle of the ocean. So as kids, we were running underneath the waves and then trying to run away before the wave. We tried to run underneath it and then run away from it before it actually crashed. Well, while I was doing this, I had gotten away with it for a long time. As a kid, it felt like a long time. And then finally, the wave didn't catch me. I was underneath the wave and I had plenty of time to get out of the way. And another wave hit me and started dragging me into the ocean. And I could feel myself fighting the pressure of the water, trying to escape being murked by the ocean. And just as I was getting pulled into deeper water, another wave came, smacked me right onto the beach. And I never ran under those waves again. But if it hadn't been for that random wave to again hit the current wave, I wouldn't be here. My close encounters with a bitter end haven't stopped there. It seems like work is always trying to do you in. Every part of work is designed to be difficult. It's designed to break you. It's designed to make you want to give up. It reminds me of being also at the food stamp office last week, sitting there with hundreds of people who all need help. For the most part, the system doesn't want to help you, doesn't want to give you food stamps. It doesn't want to give you Medicaid. It doesn't want to do anything for you. The people who stay there are the most desperate people because they know that there's no other way. Your minimum wage job, your $20 an hour job, isn't a lifeline. It's just sheer desperation that you keep coming back. Most of us want to continue living regardless of our living standard. Look at the way that we live in the year 2025. When I saw the movie Wall-E, I thought, it's only a matter of time before we're living in Wall-E's world where we've eliminated work. Everyone is the same. And we can all just sit back and enjoy technology. But instead, technology is turned against us. I mean, look at everything that you're seeing. I have no idea what's in the background of this video right now because it hasn't been created. I use the script, I use my voice, I use a transcript of what I'm talking about right now to create props to generate backgrounds. That's how I do it. So, the utopian future that we saw turned into a dystopian one very quickly, in which most of us realize that some of us aren't supposed to make it. Some of us are supposed to fail. The 99% never had the opportunity. We've been cosplaying being okay for most of our adult life.